All right, happy Saturday. So I've got a piece that I cut out of acrylic previously, and after assembling and doing all my stuff, it test fit. I've got some issues with it. So this is the piece I'm working with, little engraving and stuff, but I've got to revise the cut. So what I'm going to do is actually go back into Lightburn after I've made my modifications. I'm going to create a file that has the original cutout shape, and then I'm going to overlay the new shape because I'm using 95% of the existing cutout. I want to just do a little modification. So I've got those two combined together. Did some curve offsetting so that when I cut out this cardboard, it's going to be a snug fit. And then did some extending so that when it cuts the final piece, my edges and everything, it cuts everything so I don't have any hanging pieces or whatnot. So that's what we're going to go through. So this video kind of covers using cardboard as a jig and fixing an oop. So I've got it set up for this. I'm going to use absolute coordinates. That's going to be your best way of positioning things for this technique, because the way I've got the artwork set up and cutting out and stuff like that, user origin can trip you up, because when we're sending some of this stuff, I need to actually have the head go beyond the cut line, so that I ensure everything cuts. So that can mess up user origin. So the machine's all set up. I've got autofocus to the cardboard, and we're going to run that job. So it's going to cut again the original shape with a kerf offset in, because when we originally cut it, we lost that little bit. So when I put it back in this jig, I want it to be fairly snug. So the cardboard jig becomes our template, and then we're going to send the file of just the new cut line, focus to the acrylic, and cut that. Alright, the cut's complete. Take my cardboard out. I'm going to place my actual piece in place. Now for this project, the edge that I care about is this upper edge. That's the one that I'm going to be pushing up against the jig to make sure it's the best. So I'm going to come back over. Minor height difference, so I'm going to autofocus again. And then I'm going to send the cut line down. To the machine. And the only thing I'm wanting to do is cut a little radius here. But you'll see when I cut it, I try to follow everything on the top, just in case I'm off a little bit. It will actually, reform the top. Because I have that much freedom in this design, that'll be okay. All right, so now we're gonna frame the acrylic cutout. You can see it's only gonna frame the upper part. And again, absolute coordinates makes this a whole lot easier. It's there, and away we go. And it's gonna start off to the left so that I merge in, and truthfully it's only gonna be cutting the cardboard at that point. Then it's gonna cut, the top acrylic, if any at all, and it's gonna follow that line. And then it's going to, shortly after it gets out past that handle hole, it's actually going to dip into the acrylic and start cutting it. And then it's going to merge back into the other little flat section of this piece. So I'm able to salvage my acrylic and all the time I spent previously engraving. And then even when it's done here, it's going to go off further to the right, just to ensure that I cut through everything and have my finished piece. Hopefully this helps. I know it's not a complete tutorial. I can try to put together more of this video with the screenshot of Lightburn and stuff like that. But this is just something, a technique you can learn to fix an oops.